Welcome to the Flash Review, where I review all of the games in a subgenre at a minute apiece. Today I'm reviewing $1 vertical scroll shmup games. Many games on this list are listed as a good intro shmup. Highway to the Moon, however, is not one of them. Recommended only for experienced shmup players, this is one bullet hell where dodging all the bullets isn't really necessary or probably even possible. Not used to paying attention to the background while playing a vertical shmup? Well, get used to it as you phase shift between gravity-defying platforms. With countless pickups for health and shield and multiple weapons at your disposal, you can take on the Moon Man and his goons. Modify your game for endless replayability. The only real downside is the way weapon pickups work, but I'm sure you'll overcome. Nova Wing is another shmup that breaks the mold of tradition with semi-3D graphics and shield pickups for every other enemy defeated. Limited to the bottom half of the screen, drift your ship around space and kill anything that moves. Shield pickups act as weapon boosters as well, and unlike many shmups, getting killed doesn't downgrade your weapon. Although the controls can be a little bit disorienting, this shmup is excellent as an arcade shooter. Just make sure not to get killed during one of the stage dodging parts, or you might respawn in a spiky situation. The hitbox is a bit confusing as well, but you can make up for accidental deaths with the starting level feature. Pester is a true blue arcade-style shmup with a pretty smooth difficulty curve through various modes of play, including Boss Rush and Time Attack. This is one game you definitely want to get. Sadly, leaderboards are only local, but the charm of the game makes up for it. Be prepared for an old-school feel from this game both in playstyle and difficulty, as well as graphics. If you are playing with a controller, there's also rumble for some strange reason. The biggest downside to the game is that you can cheese a few of the bosses by staying on the edge of the screen, but don't rely on that strategy for everything. Planes, Bullets, and Vodka is a corridor shmup where dodging incoming planes is the least of your worries. Take on endless waves of enemies as you deftly maneuver through angled and narrow corridors, like a top-down version of a Star Fox final boss gimmick. It's totally fine to fly through the enemy planes if it means not scraping against a wall. Just hope you get a lot of health pickups in the process. If you like the color red, this is the game for you. On the other hand, if you like bosses, this might be a bit lacking. Also, I never did find that vodka. Polygon Attack is a neon lights wonderland when it comes to the shmup genre. One of very few games on this list that has a save file and static upgrades. Playing this game is a real joy. One of the weapons, which I suggest keeping as your primary, can destroy almost every enemy bullet in the game, which will be needed come late game when you have to escort some assistants who are, squishy. That's right, squishy polygons. Get that image out of your head. The biggest downside to this game is the very short iframes and the ability to screw over a save file with poor upgrade choices. Just put it all in that one weapon that I mentioned. Project Starship is the second bullet hell game on this list, and it will probably wreck you. The only thing saving you from inevitable death in this game is getting the right usable ult items and 1-up mushrooms. That's right, usable ult items, like in Mario Kart. And mushrooms. Pretty sure this is Mario inspired. Take on the most vile bosses as you work your way to Cthulhu and the Illuminati in this surprisingly good game. Have you ever wanted a shmup where you fight yourself? No? Well, you should try Quantum Pilot anyway. This simple looking game is a lot more challenging than at first glance, and I can guarantee you will die. Making quick decisions to beat your own actions, planning ahead, drawing your way out of and into progressively harder stages, all while the playing field closes in on you for taking your sweet time, is about as intense as it gets. This is a great game for building critical thinking skills, or, alternatively, raging at your lack of critical thinking skills. If you do manage to beat yourself, you can even unlock different game modes. Good luck, but luck won't save you from yourself. Red Death is almost a bullet hell, so for a shmup, this one might be a good intro to that subgenre. This is a pretty classic arcade shmup with a color scheme that honestly might be its only real downside. Well, that and you can totally cheese some bosses. Memorizing enemy entry points will be a lot of help for you in this game, as you struggle to survive even the first stage. Although I'm listing it as a good intro shmup, I mean the bullet hell type. Although the developers might not agree that their game is great, I actually really like Screaming Eagles. Much like the classic Raiden, this shmup features a little plane versus an onslaught of air and ground vehicles as you fight through Warzone to beat the big, and I do mean big, bosses. Taking on air fortresses that are bigger than the entire screen, while trying to dodge hundreds of bullets and death beams is a thrill that very few shmups have to offer. The devs might have abandoned this game, but I urge you to give it a try anyway. Base Wars is not even worth a penny. Seriously, don't buy this. Just look at this trailer. What the heck were they thinking? That lag is the game. You can't have more than a few missiles on screen without it lagging to death, even with a beast of a system. And that background is headache-inducing. If you enjoy lag, motion sickness, and the worst game trailer you've ever seen for any game ever, get someone else to buy this for you. Starship Annihilator is another shmup that breaks the mold of tradition. With enormous waves of enemy ships to dodge not only them but their lasers. Occasionally, moving ships will come weaving in to chase you through the hordes while launching missiles at you. Bosses are also a treat, as they are typically as easy as the stage, but with a few interesting gimmicks. All pickups also give 5 of that item, including life. The one major downside is that weapon pickups are only temporary, so you will likely never have one for the boss fights, which just makes them all the harder. Despite its odd playstyle and general ease, I would definitely recommend this game. Terra Feminarum is not the kind of game you would expect for $1. This is one hell of a bullet hell. With 5 difficulty levels, a campaign mode for multiple characters, special abilities, and fantastic bullet design, everyone should buy this game. A solid example of how a bullet hell should be, there are very few flaws to the game, and any that were present, the developers have been very responsive to fixing. The story is entertaining, the characters are well thought out, and the stages even have bonus challenges after you beat them for the first time. There are also static upgrades and save files, so what are you waiting for? The only real downside is there's no online leaderboard. XMinute's Wings is the last shmup on this list with controller support. This game is good for a quick play before work or school, as most achievements can be gotten within the first few times playing it. The bosses are all pretty easy and tend to rotate as you progress through the game. The only challenge is making it through the high currency achievement. For a quick game designed to be quick, the only downside is the small resolution and that it looks bad in full screen on bigger monitors, with no middle ground options.